Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today we are back with another Frieren Friday. We're checking out episode number 13 of Frieren. So hopefully this number won't be as unlucky as the number can sometimes be for others. And we are going to be checking this one out. I'm very excited for this because we are just continuing to head north. I really just love what this series has been doing. It's been constantly just evolving as the time goes on. We are getting introduced to new characters, new concepts, new ideas. Yeah, what a wonderful world that this series inhabits. I love the world building, I love the character building, and yeah, I'm just very excited to see where we go next. Like I've been saying for the past, I guess, like 5+ episodes, we need a healer. And I just don't know when we're going to get a healer at this point because it's taking forever. But yeah, I just hope that we get to see a healer sometime soon. And we are marching onwards towards this school area. I don't know really what it's classified as. And we'll see what happens by the time we get there. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And comment down below letting me know if you could come up with some random, really minuscule sort of spell, you know, like tracking the steps of one of those little squirrel creatures, you know, just something really small that might make your life easier or might be fun for you, that maybe isn't necessarily in the series but that you can think of. Let me know down below. It'd be a little fun thought experiment. So yeah, here we go, episode 13, Frieren. Let's go. Who are you?
俺もずっと昔冒険者に憧れていた。誰にだってある。ガキの頃のくだらない夢だ。
Yeah, but who are you? Who are you? Where did you come from? The kind of dumb dream every child has. Well, Frieren is a hero, so what does that say? Unless this is a flashback kind of scene. I don't actually know. Aversion to one's own kind. 29 years after the death of Himmel the hero in the Old Woods located in the Northern Lands.
一緒に小さな冒険をたくさんした親友がいたんだ。無鉄砲な体力バカでゴリラみたいなやつだった。とは言っても友達思いでいい。
He was like a gorilla. 100 men versus one gorilla. Who wins?
そんな夢も忘れかけた頃。そいつから一緒に冒険者にならないかと誘われたんだ。あの時あの手を取っていたら。
Oh, you didn't go with him?
何かが変わっていたんだろうな。10年も昔の話だ。今でも後悔しているよ。
Well, maybe he's still out there fighting.
料理に使う野草を森で取ってくるように兄貴に頼まれた。そしたら底なし沼に変わっちまった。
Yo, he's just telling this life story as he's sinking. That's so funny. This time I'm reaching my hand out. In the hopes that my life will change. Whoa, Frieren, come on. Are you thinking about how to save him or? Oh no. That's crazy. To just say as a last ditch effort to get someone to help you? A physically dirty one. You know a spell for that? Yo, Fern, you don't give a shit either? Okay, no, maybe you do. Of course Fern cares. That's funny. Venomous creatures? Sneaks? Scorpions? Sneak! Oh no! Oh no, Stark, you're gonna need a healer. Oh no. It's the Venom. We're gonna need a priest. Shit, okay.
30分じゃ町までは行けないね。さっきの村まで戻る。シュタルクは私が運ぶね。大丈夫だって。
Is the blood just gonna come gushing out?
アイゼンって竜を混沌させるほどの猛毒の矢を受けて
I mean, maybe that's a
していたっけ
maybe that's a dwarf thing. Look at him.
だろ
いえ、ドン引きしている時点でおかしいのはアイゼン様だと思います。
Yeah, literally.
それにハイター様の話によると
20%
冒険者の
shit.
死因の2割は毒だそうです。
Stark, this is not your time. Stark, your number is not up. Holy shit, look at them
本当に
go.
大丈夫だって。
I wonder if that's Stark's first time, like, being conscious while flying.
溶け始め
Oh
鼻から
no!
全部流れ出て死にます。
But you can heal it, right?
どうにかならないんですか神父様。
本来なら初期の段階でしか対処できませんが、私の弟ならあるよ。
Oh?
兄貴、ちょっといいか。
Look who the brother is!
新しいフローケ小さくない？
Are you going to be our
それ
healer?
よりもザイン。
Sein? Sein? I need to hear them say it again.
兄貴、こいつらだよ。
That's funny.
俺のこと助けてくれたのは。
Small village, huh?
なんだ？変に噛まれたか。
I did.
気をつけろっつったのに。
I was trying to pick an apple. Holy shit, that fast?
じゃ、これでチャラだな。
He's actually goaded? Are we gonna ask him to join us on an adventure this time? Are we gonna reach out our hand to him?
毒の反応が消え
He's
てい
a
ます。
good ass priest. That took no time at all.
その首にかけている聖印、生徒から地方で最も優れている子孫の
Ah, so you're an even better priest.
その回復のエキスパートが不治と判断した毒を一瞬で治療した。あれは天性
Never
のせいだ
mind, maybe.
やはりフリーレン様には分かりますか？ハイター様から聞かされておりました。
Aww. Hyder was in contact with
この
everyone.
聖印は生徒から視察に来られたハイター様から
Oh,
授
that
け
was
られたものです。
Hyder's.
ですが、ザインの際は私の日ではない。私たちの両親は早くに他界しましてね。
That's very sad.
男で一つで年の離れたザインを育ててきました。
Well, he did a great job. He seems to be a good person.
冒険者になりたいとよく言っていた。私の
Put the fear of God into
同じ毎
you.
日を繰り返すだけの平凡な村の僧侶には、でも今は私の若い頃にそっくりだ。
He's very serious.
さぞつまらない人生でしょう。
Well, I'm sure there's something tying him
あ
down
の子を
here,
こ
and
の
it's
村から
it's
連れ出し
maybe
てやっ
also
てはく
you.
れませんか？きっとあの子はずっと背中を押してくれる誰かを探
He
しているん
needs
です
you,
よ。
his Anarchy, to give him the encouragement and the hey, everything will be okay if you go.
確かにここから先は僧侶がいた方が安心かもしれま
This
せん。
is true. We should get a healer on
フリー
board.
レン様は何が不満なんですか？同族嫌悪かな。
Aw. A fellow mage? But you're traveling with Fern. So I'm gonna need you to unpack that.
様はいつもこの下の酒場に入り浸っているそうです。
酒、
Sake.
タバコ、
Tobacco.
ギャンブル。さすがに生臭すぎないかな。仲間にならないか？
冗談だろう。俺はこの村の僧侶だ。冒険になんか。
That's crazy. Though you would like to.
それも一興
Yeah, but would be fun. Could be
それ
fun.
したらか。俺に勝てたら仲間になってやる。
This little kid.
ええ、本当だ。
Oh no. He lost awfully.
悪く思うなよ。大人ってのは汚いもんなんだぜ。
Come on.
身ぐるみ剥がされてる。ザイン、
Sign.
仲間探してんだってな。他を当たれ。
冒険者になりたいんでしょ。
Yep, you do. Those are the words you told us.
今更だよ。
No, it's not too
もっ
late.
と早くあいつを追いかけるべきだったんだ。
今更だよ。もう500年以上魔族との実践はやってない。
Did they keep coming back and asking? Like, did they just come back every day for a while?
きっと魔王と戦うのが怖かったんだろうね。
As we know, it was not too
取り返しの
late.
つかないほどの年月が経った。
それがどうした、フリーレン。
私は今の話をしている。
Oh, look at her. She's saying the exact same words he said. Oh.
他を当た
The
れ。
influence of
お
Himmel
前
the
には俺
hero
の気持ち
lives
はわかん
on.
ねえよ。
やっぱり私ザインのこと嫌い。
I don't like you.
そうかい。
In that case, I'll join you.
意地でも仲間に誘うこと。
What?
わけわかんなすぎて怖い。
Yeah, literally, I don't get
あり
it.
がとう。あったかい。
Yet again, Frieren, I'm gonna need you to unpack that one.
失礼します。こちらはザイン様の分です。
俺が一体何をしたって言うんだ。
You didn't do anything. She's just very serious. Oh, okay, never
俺じゃ
mind.
なくて村長だって。
ギャンブルする人は最低です。
Oh
ご
shit.
めんよ。
ましてやザイン様は僧侶なのに。酒を飲む
Yeah,
僧侶は
like
どうなのさ。
corrupt priests? You want to talk about corrupt priests? Wait, what?
はい、ダメ。とんでもない教育しやがって。
Corrupted at a young age.
たまには背中を押してみるのもいいと思ったんだよ。勇者ヒンメルがそうしたように。
Yeah. I'm sure those words did ring true, but just gonna take a bit of time.
夢や希望に満ちたあの時のあいつみたいな目で俺を冒険に誘いやがる。
How can you say no?
ちょっくら北側諸国を巡ってくるだけだ。3年後の収穫祭までには戻る。覚悟が決まんねえならそん時でいい。
Damn, and he never
次
returned
の
after
冒険
10
は一緒に行こ
years.
うぜ。
今ではもう俺には眩しすぎるな。
ザインの好きなものですか。
What does he
苦
like?
戦しているからね。参考にしたくて。
そうですね。酒にタバコにギャンブルに。
Yeah, I'm sure he does like all those things.
やはりハイター様は真面目な僧侶だったのですね。
あとは年上のお姉さんが好
Oh,
きですね。
Frieren.
もはや破壊
How old? Like thousand years old? Like
正直そんな情報は
you don't know what to do with that? Well, you're the prime candidate here. Everyone's looking at you.
兄貴、新しい鎌だけど小さくない。
Yo, what the hell is that
俺じゃ
thing?
草刈りもって。
Is Frieren just gonna be like, I'm 1,000 years old, I'm an old woman?
ザイン。年上のお姉さんと旅がしたくないか。
バカかお前。そのためにガキの頃の俺は冒険者を目指した。
Even as a kid, that was his whole thing.
でそのお姉さんはどこなの？
Frieren.
ここだよザイン。私はエルフだ。お前よりもずっと年上のお
Oh
姉さんだよ。
dear. Look at that smile. That's so funny. She's just gonna dangle that carrot in front of him. Look at his face.
こんなのお姉さんじゃない。
Because she looks young?
仕方がない。本当はあまりこういうことはしたくなかったけれども、先生から教わった色仕掛けを使う時が来たよ。
Oh no. What was that?
何それ？
Wow.
投げキッスだよ。
I threw you a
坊やにはま
kiss.
だ早かったかな。
That's so
誰
funny.
かこのお子様を連れてきてくれ。
エッチすぎる。
なんなのお前ら。
おかしいな。ヒンメルに試した時
Wow.
ほどの威力だったのに。
ヒンメル。そんな女だ。
変だ。わかります。
Oh, that's
私も
hilarious.
直撃を食らっていたら危ないところでした。
腐っても聖職者ってわけか。強敵だぜ。
親友を追いかけたいんじゃないの？
Gorilla
兄貴な
man.
らわかるだろ
ザイン。
Sign.
う。あいつは3年後には帰ってくると言ったんだ。
And yet he never returned.
あれから10年も経った。もう死んでいるに決まったんだろうが。
You can't say that for sure.
会いに行ってもいないのに諦めるんだ。
We're gonna go to Ande
ま
and
だた
you
っ
can
た
see
の
him.
10年だよ。
It's
今会
only
いに
been
行かないと
10
近い未来
years.
に後悔するよ。あの時ならまだ間に合ったのかもしれないって。なんで今更って思っているでしょう。私は今の話をしているんだよ。ザイン。
What's tying you down?
兄貴を置いて村を出
Oh,
るだろ。
I knew it would be your brother.
そんなこと
You
で
need
きる
your
わけねえだろ。
brother to give you that push.
何を言っているんだ。ザイン。
ハイター様が生徒から視察に来た時消えちまったんだ。
あなたほどの才が
Oh, it's good to see Hyder
生徒の司祭とし
again.
てもやっていけるでしょう。
ハイター様、その場合弟はどうなりますか。
もちろん生徒へ。
ハイター様、せっかくのお話ですが、私はこの村でも 生活には
Comfy.
困っておりません。
It's comfy
弟
cozy.
は幼くして両親を失っています。私はあの子の兄です。あの子から故郷まで奪うことはできません。
Aw. But like, there's forcibly taking something, and there's someone choosing to leave and do something themselves, you know?
君の弟さんにたっぷりと冒険談でも話していくとしましょう。
兄貴は俺のためにこの村に残ったんだぞ。
ザイン、そんなこと
It
を考え
wasn't
て
that
い
at
たのか。
all. He didn't want to force. Whoa!
お前と私を一緒にするな。
Jeez.
私はあの時の選択を一度だって後悔したことはない。それに比べてお前は何だ。いつまで後悔し続けるつもりだ。
Aw. Wow. That was very powerful. That has to sting. Like, not because it was a slap and literally sting, just like for both brothers at that moment had to have stung.
勘違いしないでほしいんだけどな。優しい兄貴なんだ。
He does
手を挙げら
appear
れた
to be
こと
that
なん
way.
か
No,
な
I believe it.
そんな兄貴に殴らせちまった。
You didn't make him, but you kind of forced his hand in a way. You said some really
フリーレン、
crazy shit.
冒険者になることにしたよ。
What? Who would have seen
あ
that
いつを
one
追いかけ
coming?
る。まだ10年しか経ってねえしな。
It's only been 10 years.
そう
Wow, someone who finally doesn't give Frieren shit for that? That's crazy.
あいつを見つけて、俺はガキの頃のくだらない夢を叶える。だから途中までだ。途中まで一緒に行ってやる。
We'll see about that, Sein. It's good to have a healer, finally! I've been asking for a healer for like the past 5+ episodes. Probably closer to 10 at this point. Well, not as many as 10,
と
but
ころで、お前たちの旅の目的は何なんだ。
天国
we're heading to
わざわざ目
heaven.
指すような場所か。死ねばみんな行けんだろ
ザイン様も行けるんですか？
う。なんかあの子、すげえ。
Yeah, really?
一緒に頑張ろう。
Yeah, finally another man for Stark, a guy to bond with. That was a nice episode. That was a really, really good one. I like the story of it's never too late to fulfill your dreams, and even if you feel like there's something tying you down, like, I don't know, it's just a really nice message, and I did like this episode a lot. And that was episode number 13 of Frieren Beyond Journey's End. What a beautiful story this one told. I really, really love this message of it's never too late. It's never too late to do the things you want to do the things you dream of doing. It's never too late. And this episode really just compounded that idea and really just focused on that one idea and made it the whole kind of theme of this episode, with both Sein, even Frieren. In terms of the episode, like, I will go through it and I will talk about the different things that I noticed, maybe anything that I think could be important in the future, anything like that. Like, I feel like the obvious thing that's going to be important in the future is this guy who was referred to like 3 separate times as someone who acts like a gorilla, someone who climbed like a gorilla, someone who fought like a gorilla. You know, like this childhood friend of Sein's. That's gonna be important. That's gonna show up again later, I'm sure. And I wonder if he's adopted this name of Gorilla at the same time, or if that's kind of just like a nickname given to him. You know, kind of like the hero of the South. Like, that's not his real name. It's a title given to him or her. You know, we actually know nothing about the hero of the South. We don't know who they are, what they are, anything like that. And we have seen this gorilla guy, but we don't know his actual name, I don't think. Maybe they did mention it, but, you know, maybe it's kind of like a nickname that he's taken on. You know, it's always cool when these adventurers take on nicknames that they're given based on their personalities and stuff like that. And obviously Frieren is a series that is very heavy on the naming scheme and what those names mean for the characters, with Frieren meaning icy cold, you know, and she's a very cold person at times, but, you know, she has been warming up, and that has been thanks to several people in her life, thanks to Flamme, with a name that I think literally translates to like flame or fire, something like that, to that degree anyway. And of course with Himmel, who is open blue skies and full of positivity. Seeing that there's such a heavy naming scheme kind of thing in this, I suspect that this gorilla name is also going to be important. I wonder though what his actual name is, if his actual name is also important. And I wonder now also what Sein means. I hope I'm saying it right. Please do feel free to correct me, because I'm kind of just going off of how the names sounded in the series. It sounded like they were saying Sein. Yeah, please let me know if I'm saying that correctly or if I need to say it any other way, because I like to get it right. And I think the episode's starting in a very confusing way with this character we've never seen before just suddenly talking about wanting to be an adventurer when he was very young, but it was a dumb childhood dream, that the kind of dumb childhood dream that everyone has, and kind of looking down and looking very sad as he's saying it. Like, he doesn't seem very genuine when he's saying that it's a dumb childhood dream, but before that, when he talks about, you know, I wanted to be an adventurer a long time ago, he does have a smile on his face. He says, so you're an adventurer with a smile, and I wanted to be an adventurer once too, with a smile. But then he looks down and he looks very sad and upset when he's saying, that was just a dumb dream I had. Basically saying, like, it's never going to happen, and that's that. But Frieren is watching with those eyes. She is always watching. She observes and sees everything. And though she might not fully understand and comprehend sometimes the intricacies of the human language and human body language and the way humans express themselves and just all of this, she might not fully understand it all. She can probably see what is happening here. She probably sees the way he reacted in those moments. But right after that, then he goes on to talk about his friend. Let me just go back and see exactly what it is he said about his friend. I had a friend who I joined in lots of little adventures, foolhardy and with energy to spare. He was like a gorilla. He was a good gorilla who cared for his friends. So it's just like, it's really funny that he just gets referred to as this gorilla like twice in the span of like 5 seconds. And then this gorilla friend invited Sein to join him on an adventure 3 years ago to go to the Northern Lands. He was just going to the Northern Lands to explore for 3 years and he would be back. And if he said no, he would be back in 3 years to see if he would join him then. And there's like a very important kind of iconography, kind of like image of this guy reaching out towards Sein. And he's reaching out with his hand, and Sein is sitting down looking up and he turns it down. Sein does not reach out his hand, and he does not take the hand of another and join them on this adventure. That is not what happens in this instance. And it looks like the gorilla guy, it looks like he's got a big sword, so I wonder if that would make him like a Himmel type opposed to like a Stark Eisen warrior type. Like yeah, I don't know what kind of a class type he would fall under, but he does look to be more of the Himmel type, because it looks like he's got a big sword right there. And then of course we learned that was 10 years ago, and he's still looking very sad and down. But Frieren very coldly is like, why are you sharing all of this? And like, yeah, me as a viewer as well, I'm wondering this too. I'm like, why is this important? Who are you? Where did you come from? And why are you giving us your life story right now? And that's what he shares. Well, we've got a festival coming up and my brother asked me to go get some supplies in the forest, you know, get some, well, not supplies, but go get some herbs. And as you can see, I'm about to die here. I'm sinking into essentially quicksand, but, you know, a muddy quicksand. I don't know what this is called. He calls it something. Well, it's referred to as a bottomless swamp here. But, you know, this is a case where we see Sein reaching out. He is literally reaching out his hand, which I know it's kind of maybe a stretch to compare it to the scene with Gorilla Guy, but this is a time where he is reaching out towards an adventurer. And, you know, we learn by the end of this episode that he does join them, but it does take some time. It takes some time for him to come around to that idea and to actually commit to joining them. But this is the first sign of him reaching out. This is the first sign of him reaching out towards them. And I guess you know, you can take his words as maybe if you take my hand, maybe my fate will change. You can take that literally in the moment as, if you take my hand, I will be saved and I will not drown, I will not die. But you can also take these words as, if you take my hand, my life will change, my fate will change, I will join you in these adventures and my life will be different, everything will change from here on out. Like, it's going back to this scene and these words exactly from the end of the episode to now, it changes kind of what this might mean. Even though I think in the moment he's literally talking about one thing in particular, I think the writing is so good here that you can go back and change the meaning of some of these words. And I have no doubt this was done intentionally. But Frieren, instead of just like reaching out and saving him, she's like, hold on, I'm thinking about it. I'm trying to remember the spell that lets me save someone from a bottomless swamp, which, you know, of course she has a spell for that. Like that's very Frieren. Sein mentions that grown-ups are dirty by nature, and I don't know what he really means by that, because he says it again later down in the episode, and I hope that's not a sign of creepiness to come and weirdness to come. But you know, it's good to have kind of like an adult in the series now, because Frieren is very much obviously grandma, but also she's very baby in the sense that she is learning a lot more than the others sometimes. She's learning about humans, she's learning about interaction, she's learning about the world around her as she is going through this adventure here, this journey, this beyond journey's end, you know. And while Stark and Fern are both pretty young, especially comparatively very young, it sometimes feels like Fern takes the motherly role here, where she is Fern is the one who keeps the wheels moving, and you know, she does a lot of stuff to keep Frieren in line, keep Frieren in check, as well as Stark. But she is still a child, you know, like she's very young. And so that's why I think it's nice to see that there's an actual adult here with us now, one who might actually hopefully act like an adult, and it'll change the dynamic of the party for sure, but I'm excited to see just how it changes and what that means for everyone going forward here. And that is proven in this very scene where Fern shows up and sees Frieren sitting staring at this poor guy who's reaching out, begging for help. And Fern, we don't see it, but Fern makes sure that Frieren saves him and says that she's going to give Frieren an earful later. She's going to give her hell. And Sein is only thankful to Frieren. He's like, she saved my life, you know, don't worry about it. But Fern is like, no, she needs an earful. This was not okay. And yeah, like, you can't just leave someone like that when they're asking for your help, Frieren. Come on. If you're trying to learn about humans, you gotta be nice to them. You gotta, like, help them where you can. But Sein warns the group, hey, you guys better be careful, because there are a lot of venomous creatures and venomous monsters, beasts, whatever the word is that he used here, that are in the forest, that you will be traveling towards the next city. So be careful, because that venom is very dangerous. And we cut immediately to Stark being bit by a snake, which was honestly peak comedic timing. It was so funny and so like well timed that, like, of course this happened, and of course it happened to Stark. Yeah, this poor guy, he cannot catch a break whatsoever. I wonder if it'll be important, but we do also then get a little piece of information that Fern can only fly for 30 minutes or 30 more minutes anyway, because flying consumes a lot of mana. And I don't know if that's going to be important, or if that's just kind of an indication as to why Frieren is going to carry him back here. But if that's going to be important, I'll be paying attention and I'll be focusing on when that might show up again, because if she can only do that for 30 minutes, then that might be an issue down the line. And also, it's good to learn that flying takes up a lot of mana. We get some cool information that Eisen was almost immune to poison in a way. Like, I don't know what Eisen's deal was, but that might be a dwarf thing, or it's just simply that he was just different. He was built different. Maybe he was drinking poison every day, and so poisons or venoms wouldn't affect him. But yeah, he was just built different, and Stark was like, well, my master could do it, so can I. But his nose is bleeding really fast, and Frieren's just like, yeah, we're gonna need a healer for this. We're gonna need a priest, because I don't know what to do here. This is outside my field. This is outside of what I can do, and we need to get you to someone who can actually fix you up real quick. And that's then when we get another immediate cut to the local village priest telling Stark that you are going to die in a couple of hours. I cannot help you. This is incurable. And your brain will slowly begin to melt through your nose, down through your nose, and that's it for you. You're done. You're dead. And at this point, like, you're like, well, shit, that sucks. I guess we're going to need someone a little better. But, you know, I'm also thinking, like, well, if in 2 hours your entire brain will have melted through your nose, does that mean that some of your brain has already begun to melt? Or is that just an effect that will happen in 2 hours per se? Because, like, has Stark actually lost brain cells right now, like at this point? Or is that not a thing at all? Like, it's just a funny little thought right here, but I really don't think that is the case because, yeah, I just don't see it. But if it is the case, it would be funny to look back at this moment. But the local village priest is like, hey, my brother might be able to help. And that's when Sein kicks in. Well, he doesn't kick in the door, but Sein opens the door and asks his brother for something. And that's when we're clued in. Oh, shit, that's your brother. And he's a priest. He is someone who can heal us, and he wants to go on adventures very clearly, and we need someone to go on an adventure with us that can heal us. Wow, it's almost like the stars have aligned, right? And yeah, that's kind of then what the entire rest of the episode is about. It's about trying to convince him to join us on this adventure, to join us as a healer, and to join us on an adventure for him to find his friend. But yeah, Sein very handily, very easily heals Stark in this moment, and there's kind of a running gag here. I don't know really what to make of this gag where Sein shows up with a very tiny tub and says something about, like, what am I supposed to do with a tiny tub? And then later in the episode shows up with a tiny sickle and it's like, what am I supposed to do with a tiny sickle? Like, is that going to be a running gag throughout the series? Because I don't know if it's that he is making these small as a means of a joke to try to make his brother laugh or something, or if it's for his own amusement, or if these things are actually that small. And yeah, I don't know. Like, maybe it's a joke about overcompensation, you know, like he does talk about adults being dirty and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't really know how to take this running gag that they had within this episode, and I wonder if it's going to continue as the series continues with Sein. And of course then Sein's brother gives us some more insight into Sein as a character. Sein is someone who always wanted to go on adventures, but he has remained here. He always looks very sad. He looks like he's longing for an adventure. He's longing to go do what it is that he wants to do. And he does not want to see his brother end up like him. He doesn't want to see Sein end up like he has, because this is something that his brother, like, I don't know, I remember his name, I don't know if it's ever mentioned, has chosen to do. He has chosen to live this life, whereas it very much seems like Sein is settling for this life, and he doesn't want him to settle. So he asks us to take him on an adventure and to give him that last little push that he needs, which I think is a really cool idea. Especially when Sein's power, his magical power, is as strong as it is, right? Like, that's something that we could really do with. But we also then get a little message from, or a little comment from Frieren saying that she has an aversion to her own kind, and I don't get it. I don't know what that means. I wonder if anyone knows what that means. Like, feel free to share what you interpret from that, if it hasn't been revealed, or if it has been revealed and I just haven't caught on. If it's a spoiler for the future, please don't tell me. But she obviously has traveled with other mages in the past, other people with magical power, magical abilities. You know, you've got Hyder and you've got Fern, but maybe she is meaning that her own kind being, like, very powerful, because she senses the power in Sein and she's worried about that. Like, yeah, it's just something that we haven't necessarily got an answer to, and I don't know if we will. I wonder if we will. I hope we will. But yeah, it's just a very obviously important line that we haven't particularly got the answer to just yet, what she means literally from it. But yeah, we see the priest and others being corrupt, drinking, gambling, smoking, all of that. And yeah, then Stark is simply told, hey, I'll join your party of heroes and adventurers, whatever, if you can beat me at a game. And Stark's like, what, really? And that's when we start to hear screaming, and we run outside to see that both Sein and Stark have been tossed outside in their underwear. They've got none of their belongings. All of their belongings are gone. And we learn that the village chief has the devil's luck and was able to win everything here and won the entire pod, won all their clothes, won all their weapons, won everything that they had in their possession. And that means even Stark's weapon is gone. And that's then when Sein says, hey, Stark told me you want someone to join you on this adventure. Find someone else. It's far too late for me now. I cannot do it because I am not that same person I was when I wanted to go on these adventures. I am older now, and yeah, that's kind of that. Like, I don't see myself doing it because of my age and because of how much time has passed. And of course, we get a very beautiful flashback moment then between Frieren and the party that she traveled with 80 years ago, with, of course, Himmel being the front man speaking to her. As Frieren says, it's too late now, I've forgotten how to fight. Himmel says, who cares? Who cares how much time has passed? You may say you've forgotten how to do this. You may say that all that time has passed and it's too late now, but who cares how much time has passed? You're still here, and that's all that matters, because I am talking about the present. What matters right now is the here and now that we are experiencing, and what you do with the time that you have right now. Forget about the past, forget about the time that has passed. Do things for yourself right now. And this really wraps up this whole idea of it's never too late and gives it a perfect little tagline with it. I'm talking about the present. That is the perfect phrase to go along with this episode. And of course, it's Himmel the hero is the one to utter these words. And we see that Frieren, who has learned a lot from others throughout the years, uses these same words because she knows that these words had an effect on her, and she is hoping that these words will have an effect on someone else. And she uses these words on Sein and says, I'm talking about the present. And Sein is very obviously shocked by these words, but he recalls Gorilla Guy reaching out towards him, and still he says no. But Frieren very hilariously says, I don't like you, but that's why I need you to join us. I don't get it. I wonder if that's because she wants to learn from him. She wants to learn more because she realizes she doesn't like him and she doesn't understand why she doesn't like him, and she wants to learn why that is from traveling with him. Yeah, I really don't know, but it's a really funny moment because everyone is surprised by this. But Fern goes and gets everyone's clothes, and yeah, the village chief doesn't actually ask them to do anything, doesn't ask for a payment or anything like that, and just kind of gives them over. And I think that another like kind of message within this episode was the whole thing about, you know, masters and what we've learned from them and how we are our master's students and everything like that, because we get the scene then with Fern basically being like, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. You know, like, they upset Mother Fern, but well, Stark did anyway, by gambling, because she says people who gamble are the worst. And that's really funny coming from someone who was brought up by a corrupt priest. You know, like, Mr. Sein is supposed to be a priest and he was gambling. That's the worst thing he could have done. Like, girl, you were raised by a corrupt priest, someone who, well, actually, he did stop drinking when he brought you on. So, like, fair enough, you maybe didn't see that side of him, but, like, you have no idea. You don't know shit about either. And Frieren kind of calls Fern out in this, where she's like, well, what about a priest that drinks? And Fern just very funnily turns around with a smile on her face and is like, oh, you didn't know, Frieren? Alcohol is the best medicine. And yeah, she's turning into her master's student. She is her master's student. She always has been. That kind of comes up again later with the whole smooch situation, where Frieren might not realize it, but she is very much her master's student. She is very much Flame's student, and she is obviously still carrying on and practicing these practices that she learned all those years ago from Flame. And she uses what Flame teaches her about humans as a means to communicate with humans and do certain things with humans. And yeah, I'm skipping ahead, but yeah, we then get kind of a montage of Frieren, Stark, and Fern all trying to recruit Sein at different points throughout the next I don't know how much time has passed, but like a week or two anyway. And so we go to his older brother who tells us that he likes older women. And that's when everyone kind of looks at Frieren, and Frieren's like, I don't know what to do with this information. And yeah, Stark then runs out and goes to find Sein, and it's like, hey, actually no, Sein comes in with a cycle of apologies. And that's when Stark chases him down. It's like, hey, so you like older women, right? If you like older women, you should join us because it would be pretty cool to travel with one, right? And Sein says that his whole thing with adventuring when he was a child was because of, you know, the whole older women thing, wanting to travel with an older women. And yeah, then that's when we get this. So where is this older women? And Frieren, very crookedly smiling, hands on hips, just standing very confident, but it's just very funny seeing her act like this because it's very seemingly out of character almost for her, but she knows how to act. I guess she is practicing what she's learned probably from Flame, and she's like, I'm over here, I'm the older woman you're looking for, and I'm an elf, and I'm much, much older than you are. She's so funny. But Sein's like, that's no older woman, I didn't mean it like that. And so Frieren has no choice but to pull out an ancient technique, the technique of seduction that she was taught all those years ago by her master. And she simply comes up, stands to face Sein, and blows him a kiss. And that is supposed to be the ultimate technique that knocks someone flying. And it's just really funny seeing Frieren in this situation right here because she is hilarious. I love Frieren. She is so funny. And yeah, I can't get enough of this moment because it's not something I was expecting to see from her. But yeah, of course, she's iconic. And then she stands very proud of what she just did. And Stark and Fern are like, that's too powerful. That move could kill someone. Be careful. But it doesn't work on Sein. And I wonder why that is. I don't know if there's an actual real reason given for it, but we do learn that Himmel was knocked out cold from it, and we do see that, and it's very funny. So Frieren simply has to go with the cold hard truth kind of route, where she's like, look, it's only been 10 years and your friend could still be out there. Don't you want to go help him? Because if you wait any longer, it could actually literally be too late. Right now, it's not too late. In the present we are in right now, it's not too late. Don't let things get to the point where it's too late and you regret it, because that's the worst thing a person can do. And yeah, she's speaking from experience because she let things get to the point where she thought things were too late, but she learned things were not too late when she joined the party of heroes. But Sein kind of speaks like almost like a martyr in a sense. It's like, I can't go for a reason, you know, I'm held down here because I can't leave my brother. I overheard a conversation he had with Hyder all those years ago, and I will not abandon my brother here because he decided not to abandon me all those years ago. And so that's why I'm staying here, to repay that debt, and because it's what he did for me, so it's what I'll do for him. When he's very clearly misinterpreting the whole situation. The whole situation is that their parents died when Sein was a very young age, and this is somewhere that is very comfortable for Sein. It's somewhere he grew up, it's somewhere he knows, it's somewhere that he can speak to anyone, he knows the people here, and he can live a life here. And so his older brother wants to give him that opportunity, that if he so wishes, he can stay here and he can be happy. He doesn't want to take that choice away from him. He doesn't want to take away that one thing that is familiar to him. And so his brother decides, we're not going to join you, Hyder, we're going to stay here. And it's like he's giving Sein that choice to make for himself at some point when he's old enough. But Sein does not interpret it that way. And that's kind of then why I think his brother walks up to him and slaps him. Because how dare you interpret my words that way? How dare you blame me for holding you down here? That is not the case. I have been wanting you to go do what you want to do this whole time. I did not want this for you. So don't you blame me for that. That's how I interpreted the slap. And it's sad to see that it got to this point, because it had to sting for both of them that things got to that point where his brother had to hear Sein say those words, and also Sein had to literally be slapped by his brother to kind of realize the truth in all of that. And so after that, Sein decides to join us and says that he's only joining us so long as it takes to find Gorilla Guy, right? I don't think he's ever given his name here. And yeah, that's kind of like his whole thing. He wants to only travel with them to find Gorilla Guy. And it's nice to see when they're walking away from the village that everyone is smiling and cheering them on as they walk away, including his brother. And I think that that's very important for Sein here in this moment. But then we do get the scene where, while they're traveling, where he asks, oh, where are we going, by the way? And he's told about Ende, he's told about heaven, and they're like, and Sein's simply like, well, why go there now? Aren't we going to go there when we die anyway? But that's when Fern hits Sein with the kind of sass that Frieren would have hit Hyder with all those years ago, where she says, even you, Mr. Sein. And yeah, it's just a funny callback to the moment earlier when she got the clothes for them both, where she was very sassy towards Sein. And yeah, now Stark has someone to suffer with as Fern continues in her sassy ways. And I think it was a very nice ending for this episode, a very beautiful story told within this episode, a great episode as always with Frieren. And yeah, I do think I'm going to wrap this one up. If you have any questions for me, please ask them below. And yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed. And if you did, please leave a like and subscribe. And I am going to wrap this one up. So I hope that you guys are able to have a great day today and that you're able to take it easy. I will see you in the next one. Take care.